There are new developments on a proposal to send fighter jets to Ukraine. Poland now says it will give its Russian-made planes to Ukraine, but it wants the United States to deliver them from an Air Force base in Germany. The Pentagon rejected that idea last night, saying, quote, "We do not believe Poland's proposal is a tenable one." The problem with the plan, according to the Pentagon, is that the jets would take off from a U.S. NATO base and fly into contested airspace over Ukraine. The Pentagon says that would raise serious concerns for the entire NATO alliance. U.S. officials say they were blindsided by the proposal, which was posted to a Polish government website. Poland's offer appeared to be an attempt to show it was willing to help Ukraine while shifting the responsibility and risk of Russian retaliation to the U.S. This obviously very complicated, and a complicated operation, Claire, because Putin will perhaps move the goalpost and see anything as an act of war.
Well, it kind of would be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're flying, flying jets from a NATO base,
exactly.
So how do you move them in?
Well, here's the thing, and listen, I don't want to even develop a little crack of disagreement among our allies right now. But Poland putting this on a website before calling internally among the people who work with each other in NATO and among our military to military is a sign that they really wanted this for the headline. Because I don't think it was a realistic proposal, and I think Poland knew that, and Anne may have more thoughts on this.
To be fair, Tony Blinken did say this on the Sunday shows last weekend, though. And I went back and listened to the tape, and he was pretty clear. We would support Poland's efforts to give the Ukrainians planes, and we will backfill.
Well, that would be fine, but Poland didn't want to give them to them. Poland wanted the United States to give them to them. If Poland wants to give them fighter jets, Soviet fighter jets, they can do so. There's nothing stopping Poland from doing that. Them wanting to pull the United States in is what felt weird to me. Why do they need the United States to do this?
Well, also very interesting, I had heard when that was first floated that the jets that were supposed to backfill actually are intended for Taiwan. So there's not even the question of whether we would have those jets to backfill. I think everybody needs to, again, sort of take a step back and
But it's frustrating because there's this plea for the jets.
There's a plea for the jets, but at the same time, again, right now, Jeffrey, you have a Slavic nation fighting a Slavic nation. You have Putin being an aggressor against the Ukrainians. At some, I mean, all Putin wants is to make this a Russia versus NATO, a Russia versus United States war. That's why these proposals are dangerous. And I'm just going to say, I want to say it again. People getting on American cable shows and broadcast shows talking about asking, why are we being weak? Why aren't we putting a no-fly zone in? The recklessness in those questions, it's just dumbfounding. I can't believe presidents of networks don't yank them off the air and say, do you really want to start World War III? And as Claire said, why don't you rephrase your question? Hey, should we start World War III?
Just an aside on no-fly zones. In order to establish a no-fly zone, you would have to kill Russians who are manning anti-aircraft defenses. But you actually have to take them out before you can actually impose a no-fly. So that is an act of war, and so that is. But you know, the larger point here is that I think every day we're going to come up against a version of this Poland controversy, which is to say, well-meaning people want to do something for Ukraine. Right. And every day there's going to be a proposal, and every day one of those proposals is going to bump up against a hard reality, which is that Russia is a nuclear power. Russia wants a confrontation with NATO, and there's only so far that we can go. Again.
That's what's critical. Putin wants the confrontation against NATO because he's losing now.
Right. He wants for domestic consumption. Obviously, he's worried. I mean, he can't arrest everybody in Russia. I mean, maybe he can actually, as the expert on. And wrote literally a book called Gulag that won the Pulitzer Prize. So she knows. But you can arrest a lot of people in Russia, but you can't arrest everyone. And so to frame this in East-West terms, it'll bring China back onto Team Russia. China's sort of wobbly on the whole Russia question, a little bit right now.
Well, they're getting more wobbly by the moment.
Well, it's messing up their their broader plans.
I just said he's got his to-do list. Invading Taiwan has gone from number 2 to number 7.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't worked out well. And as we talk about the Ukrainians too, and since we have you here, you wrote not only about Gulag, you wrote a book about what Stalin did to Ukraine. How he systematically killed between 3 and 4 million Ukrainians. There's people still alive today who remember that.
Yes, so to me, the most frightening aspect of this war is Putin's use of this genocidal language. We're going to wipe Ukraine off the map. It's a nation that doesn't exist. When you talk about nations that don't exist or shouldn't exist or don't need to be here anymore, then you're talking about real mass murder. And I think that is probably it's that language that has really galvanized Europe. I mean, the reason why you've seen all these changes in Germany and elsewhere is because people are reacting to that. They really are hearing something they haven't heard in Europe since the 1940s.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.